that's one of the questions that I had was, how is it that I'm entering this beautiful Catholic Church with all the saints, the seven sacraments, the sacramentals, the devotions to the Blessed Virgin Mary, who's immaculate, to all the saints in heaven, the martyrs, the virgins, the widows, the bishops, the confessors, all the different categories and classes of saints. I mean, we're just talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of people who have had their life changed, not just in a small way, but in a radical way, so that they would actually become bloody martyrs for the sake of righteousness, for the sake of Jesus Christ. That was impressive. So I became a Catholic as an adult. And the longer I was Catholic, the more I realized, that honeymoon wore off, that there were some real bad people in the Catholic Church. And I'm not just talking about, people in the laity, but what bothered me most was bad people in the priesthood and in the episcopate and cardinals, and yes, even bad popes. And so that led me on a journey to write this book, Infiltration, the plot to destroy the church from within. And yesterday's gospel was really the infiltration gospel. In fact, I was sitting next to my friend Jack Posobiec at Latin Mass, and at the end of that reading in English, he kind of nudged me in the ribs and said, someone should write a book on that. That's infiltration. Now, infiltration, some people say, oh, that's like a conspiracy theory. Like, no. Christ our Lord, second person of the Trinity, eternal Logos, prophesied that the church would be infiltrated. So we're going to look at Matthew's Gospel. I'm going to read from, right now I just have my Father Lassant's Missal. It's my favorite missal. At that time, Jesus spoke this parable to the multitudes. The kingdom of heaven is likened to a man that sowed good seed in his field, but while men were asleep, his enemy came. His enemy is Satan, by the way. His enemy came and oversowed cockle among the wheat and went his way. And when the blade was sprung up and had brought forth fruit, then appeared also the cockle. And the servants of the good man of the house coming said to him, Sir, didst thou not sow good seed in thy field? Whence then hath it cockle? Now, I'm going to pause here. We might say as Christians, Lord Jesus, didn't you found your church? Didn't you start the one church, the Catholic Church? How come there's so much wickedness in it? Didn't you sow good seeds? Here's the answer. And he said to them, an enemy hath done this. And that's the subtitle to today's video. An enemy hath done this. Not Christ, but the enemy. And the servant said to him, Wilt thou that we go and gather it up? And he said, No, lest perhaps gathering it up the cockle, you root up the wheat also together with it. Suffer both to grow until the harvest, and in the time of the harvest I will say to the reapers, Gather up first the cockle, and bind it into bundles to burn, but the wheat gather ye into my barn. The gospel of the Lord. Praise be to thee, O Christ. So they're going to the paterfamilias here. This is God. And the workers, that could be me and you. Hopefully it's me and you. We say, why is there all this bad seed in the field? Didn't you, it's almost like accusation, didn't you plant the good seed? And the answer is the enemy has done this. It's, as I've been learning as a Catholic, there are attacks on the church from the outside. There is the Nero and the Diocletian and the French Revolution. These are people coming and killing the Catholics, killing the Christians. There's been more martyrs in the last 100 years than in the previous 20 centuries. But there's also this insidious smoke of Satan, infiltration, cockle seeds that Satan has cast all over the church. It's not just in America or Europe, it's everywhere. But I think the point here that Christ is teaching, and I'll close with this, is Christ himself is not going to remove all wickedness in the church. And if we expect that, we're expecting something contrary to what he's already prophesied. In his eternal wisdom and prudence, he allowed for Judas to be amongst the 12. And somehow, I don't understand it. I don't understand the problem of evil. I'm not even going to try to give you an answer for it. But somehow in his wisdom, the plan for the church includes cockle, weeds, tears, zizania, in our midst. And that might be part of our process of sanctification, of how we are going to be saints. Again, it's mysterious. I'm not going to come here and give you some easy theological Sunday school answer. It is hard to chew on, but it is right there in Matthew 13.